Listen to me. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but you've been giving your life away. You've been waiting on somebody else to fix it, waiting for the perfect time, the right opportunity, the right people to support you. And I came here to tell you, stop waiting. Take control of your life starting today. You've got to stop blaming your parents and stop blaming the government. Stop blaming your boss. Stop blaming your circumstances. None of that is going to change until you change. Do you understand? Every single day you're alive, you got a choice. Either you take control of your life or life controls you. And when life controls you, you end up broke, stuck, frustrated, angry, and bitter. But when you take control, when you decide, this is my moment, this is my life, this is my responsibility, that's when transformation happens. Stop making excuses. You're not too old. You're not too young. You're not too broke. You're not too damaged. That's the story you keep telling yourself. And the longer you tell yourself that story, the longer you stay stuck. Rewrite the story. If you don't like your situation, do something about it. If you don't like your health, change your diet. Get up and move. If you don't like your finances, start saving. Start investing. Start working on your craft. If you don't like your relationship, stop waiting for the other person to change. You change first. Success is not about luck. Success is about ownership. Success is about ownership. You gotta own your mornings, own your grind, own your habits, own your mindset. And if you can take control of those things today, I promise you, your future will never be the same. So, what are you going to do? Keep sitting around waiting for life to hand you a miracle? Or are you going to stand up today, right now, and take control of your destiny? Because the truth is this, if you don't control your life, somebody else will. Take control, own it, live it starting today. Listen to me, because somebody needs this message right now. You've been sitting on your dream. You've been sitting on your goals. You've been sitting on that idea, that vision, that calling that's been inside of you for years. And every time you think about moving on it, every time you get that fire, that energy, that push to finally start, you stop yourself because you tell yourself, it's not the right time. You say, I'll start when I have more money. Or I'll start when I have more confidence. And I'm telling you right now, that day never comes. There is no such thing as the perfect time. The perfect time is an illusion that's keeping you stuck. The perfect time is a lie you've been telling yourself to justify your fear. I need you to understand that the people who make it in life, the ones you look up to, the ones you read about, the ones you watch on TV, the ones you follow on social media, they're not people who had all the answers. They're not people who waited for everything to line up. They're people who started scared. They're people who started broke. They're people who started unqualified, unprepared, unsure, but they started anyway. And because they started, they created momentum. And because they created momentum, they created opportunities. And because they created opportunities, they created results. The biggest lie you've been told is that you need everything figured out before you start. That's not how it works. You figure it out on the way. You learn by doing, you grow by moving. You get stronger by lifting the weight. You don't get stronger by waiting for the perfect conditions in the gym. You pick it up, even when it's heavy, even when it hurts, even when you don't know if you can lift it, you pick it up. And in the process of picking it up, your muscles grow. That's how life works. Stop telling yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. Stop telling yourself, I'll do it when I feel ready. Let me tell you something. Ready is a myth. You will never feel ready. You will always feel some fear. You will always feel some doubt. You will always feel some insecurity. But courage is not about not feeling fear. Courage is about moving anyway, in spite of the fear. Courage is about doing it afraid. There are people right now living the life you want, driving the car you dream about, living in the house you imagine, running the business you talk about, traveling to the places you've always wanted to go. And do you know the only difference between them and you? They started. That's it. They didn't wait. They didn't overthink. They didn't talk themselves out of it. They didn't ask 100 people for permission. They took one step, and that one step changed everything. You've been waiting on God, waiting on a sign, waiting on the universe, waiting on somebody to push you, waiting for motivation, waiting for clarity. And I came to tell you, the sign is here. This is it. That restlessness you feel, that frustration you feel, That longing you feel every night before you go to bed, that's not random. That's life trying to wake you up. That's your calling trying to get your attention. That's your future self screaming at you to move. Do you understand how dangerous waiting is? Do you understand how much time you've already lost? How many opportunities have passed you by while you were getting ready? There are people who started after you, with less than you, with fewer resources, with fewer connections, and they passed you. They're miles ahead now. Not because they're better, not because they're smarter, but because they stopped waiting. And every day you sit still, every day you hesitate, every day you procrastinate, you're falling further behind. You're sitting around waiting for the right time like you're guaranteed time. You're not. Tomorrow is not promised. Next week is not promised. Next year is not promised. Do you know how many people had plans last year that never got to see them through? Do you know how many people thought they had time? Time is not guaranteed. All you have is right now. And if you don't move on your dreams now, you may not get another chance. You gotta understand, action brings clarity. You don't wait for clarity to take action. You move, and in the movement, things become clear. You try, you adjust, you learn, you grow. That's the process. But when you sit still, when you wait, when you overthink, you rob yourself of the very experiences that will shape you into the person you need to become. Listen to me, stop waiting for the money to come before you start. Stop waiting for the degree before you start. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you before you start. Start where you are with what you have and build from there. Start messy, start imperfect, start scared, but start. Because starting is the hardest part. And once you do, momentum will carry you. I need you to stop talking and start doing. Stop posting quotes and start living them. Stop telling people what you're going to do and show them. Don't let another year go by where you're in the same place, telling the same story, making the same excuses. You've got to draw a line in the sand and say, this is it. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm moving today. When you wake up tomorrow, your dream isn't going to magically happen. Nobody's going to knock on your door and hand you success. Nobody's going to give you the perfect opportunity. You got to create it. You got to manufacture with your grind, with your discipline, with your consistency. The only way you do that is by starting now. Do you know how powerful now is? Do you understand that now is the only time you can actually control? You can't change yesterday. You can't live in tomorrow. The only power you have is now. And yet, most people waste now talking about later. Later never comes. The graveyard is full of people who said alada. The graveyard is full of people who said, when the time is right, and the time never came. Don't let that be your story. I know you're scared. I know you're unsure. I know you don't know if it's gonna work. But let me tell you something. The only way to know is to try. The only way to figure it out is to do it. You cannot sit on the sidelines of your life forever. You cannot keep being a spectator, watching other people win, watching other people build, watching other people live the life you dream about. At some point, you've got to get in the game. At some point, you've got to step onto the court. At some point, you've got to take the shot. And you've got to do it now. Don't wait for New Year's Day. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for validation. Don't wait for confidence. Don't wait for money. Don't wait for resources. Don't wait for support. Stop waiting. Start moving. Start moving. Because once you move, doors will open. Once you move, people will show up. Once you move, opportunities will find you. But nothing happens until you move. Nothing changes until you move. Nothing changes until you move. Nothing grows until you move. So I don't care what your dream is. I don't care what your vision is. I don't care how impossible it looks. I don't care how long you've been waiting. Today is the day. This moment is your moment. This second is your second. Take it. Own it. Start. If you want to change your life, if you want to get to the next level, if you want to finally break free from the cycle you're in, the very first thing you have to do is this. Take full responsibility. Stop blaming, stop pointing fingers, stop making excuses, stop waiting for someone to come save you. Because nobody's coming. Nobody's gonna live your life for you. Nobody's gonna wake you up early. Nobody's gonna study for you, grind for you, hustle for you. That's on you. And until you own that truth, you're going to stay stuck right where you are. I get it. Life hasn't been fair. Some of you grew up without a father. Some of you had a mother who wasn't there. Some of you didn't grow up with money, didn't grow up in the right neighborhood, didn't grow up with the right opportunities. But here's the truth. None of that matters anymore. It happened, yes. It happened, yes. It hurt, yes. But it's over now. And the only way it continues to control you is if you let it. You can't control where you came from, but you can control where you're going. And that starts with taking full responsibility for your life. When you say it's my fault, that's not weakness. That's power. That's you saying, I refuse to let anyone else have control over my destiny. Because when you blame, you give away your power. Every time you say, I can't because of them, what you're really saying is, they own my future. And I don't know about you, but I can't let anyone else own my future. I can't let my past own my future. I can't let my boss, my teacher, my parents, my friends, my enemies own my future. My future belongs to me. And the only way I claim it is by taking full responsibility. You got to stop saying I would be successful if it wasn't for this person. I would be happy if it wasn't for that situation. I would be further if it wasn't for what I went through. No, you've got to flip it and say, I'm going to be successful because I'm stronger than what I went through. I'm going to be happy because I choose joy, regardless of my circumstances. I'm going to move further because I refuse to stay stuck in the pain of my past. That's responsibility. That's ownership. The reason so many people never change is because excuses make them comfortable. Excuses are easy. It's easy to say I'm broke because of the economy. It's easy to say I'm not in shape because I don't have time. It's easy to say I'm not successful because nobody believes in me. Excuses let you off the hook. Excuses let you sleep at night because you don't have to look in the mirror and admit the truth. That the only thing stopping you is you. You know what's hard? Waking up and saying, I'm broke because I waste money. You know what's hard? Saying, I'm out of shape because I don't discipline myself. You know what's hard? Saying, I'm not where I want to be because I keep procrastinating. That's hard. But that's also the beginning of change. Because when you take responsibility, you take back control. And when you take back control, you can fix it. Look, every great person you admire got to where they are because they stopped making excuses. You think Oprah had it easy? She was abused, rejected, laughed at. But she didn't make excuses. She owned her story and turned it into power. You think Steve Jobs had the perfect background? He was adopted, dropped out of college, got fired from the very company he started. But he didn't make excuses. He took responsibility and built something greater. You think Eric Thomas had it easy? Homeless, eating out of trash cans, failing in school. But I had to own it. I had to stop blaming the system, stop blaming teacher, stop blaming life. I had to say, it's on me. And the day I did that was the day everything changed. You want freedom? Responsibility is freedom. When you take responsibility, you no longer wait for somebody else to change your situation. You change it yourself. You no longer wait for life to give you a break. You break the door down yourself. When you take responsibility, you realize you are the problem, but you are also the solution. And that realization is the most powerful thing in the world. Stop telling yourself stories that keep you weak. Stop saying, I can't because of them. No, say, I can because of me. Stop saying, I'm stuck because of what happened to me. No, say, I'm moving forward because of what I decide today. You have to reprogram the way you talk to yourself. Excuses build walls, responsibility builds doors. And if you want a way out, you got to start building doors. I need you to be real with yourself right now. Take inventory of your life. Look at your finances. Look at your health. Look at your relationships. Look at your career. Look at your mindset. If there's something you don't like, stop blaming and start owning. Say to yourself, this is where I am because of the decisions I've made. And if I made decisions to get here, I can make decisions to get out. It's easy to play the victim. And let me be clear. Maybe you really were a victim. Maybe people really did hurt you. Maybe they abandoned you, lied to you, cheated you, stole from you. That's real. I'm not saying it didn't happen. But the moment you decide to stay there, the moment you choose to keep wearing that label, you give them victory twice. They hurt you once, and then you hurt yourself for the rest of your life. But when you take responsibility, when you say, yes, they did it, but I decide how I respond, you take the power back. You stop being a victim and start being victorious. People ask me all the time, E.T., what was the turning point in your life? And I tell them the turning point wasn't when I got a degree. The turning point wasn't when I got a job. The turning point wasn't when I started speaking. The turning point was when I stopped making excuses. The turning point was when I stopped saying, I'm homeless because of my father. The turning point was when I stopped saying, I can't learn because school is hard. The turning point was when I stopped saying, I'm failing because of the system. The turning point was when I said, the E.T., you're failing because you don't want it bad enough. You're failing because you're not disciplined. You're failing because you're not putting in the work. That was the day everything changed. Because once I admitted the truth, I had the power to fix it. And that's the same for you. You've been waiting for things to get better, but things don't get better until you get better. You've been waiting for people to treat you differently, but people don't treat you differently until you demand better by the way you carry yourself. You've been waiting for the world to give you a chance, but the world doesn't owe you anything. You owe it to yourself to take responsibility. You got to stop hiding behind excuses. Excuses sound good, but they don't produce results. Excuses get sympathy, but they don't get success. Excuses make you feel better in the moment, but they leave you worse in the long run. Responsibility might sting at first, but it will set you free. Responsibility might hurt your ego, but it will heal your future. Responsibility might be heavy, but it's the only weight worth carrying. So today, right now, I need you to make a decision. I need you to look in the mirror and say, it's on me. Stop waiting for someone to come save you. Stop waiting for the perfect circumstances. Stop waiting for people to believe in you. Stop waiting for the system to change. Stop waiting for the world to hand you something. Own it. Own your mistakes. Own your weaknesses. Own your failures. And then own your comeback. Own your grind. Own your greatness. Because once you take full responsibility, there are no limits to what you can achieve. I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but I know you've been carrying the weight of your past like chains around your neck. You've been walking into new seasons dragging old pain. You've been waking up every day rehearsing old failures, old mistakes, old wounds. And I came to tell you something that could change your life forever if you receive it. Your past does not define your future. Whatever happened back there, whatever you went through, whatever you lost, whatever you did, that's not the end of your story. That's just a chapter. That's just a page. And today you've got the power to rewrite the rest. Listen to me carefully. Stop letting the worst moments of your life dictate the direction of your life. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not the rejection, the abuse, the trauma, the addiction. That's part of what you went through, but it is not who you are. The problem is you've been reading the same page over and over again. And you convince yourself that's the whole book. But if you just turn the page, if you just pick up the pen and start writing again, you realize you got more chapters ahead of you than behind you. You see, too many of you have allowed your past to become your identity. You say things like, I'm a failure because I failed. No, you're not. You fail, but you're not a failure. You say I'm broken because I've been hurt. No, you've been hurt, but you're not broken. You say I'm weak because I gave in. No, you gave in once, twice, 10 times. But that doesn't mean you can't stand up stronger tomorrow. Stop labeling yourself by the worst thing you've ever done or the worst thing that's ever happened to you. That's not who you are. That's what you went through and what you went through. And what you went through was meant to shape you, not stop you. The enemy of your future is your obsession with your past. You keep going back to it. You keep replaying it. You keep letting it haunt you. But the past has no power unless you keep giving it power. Every time you talk about it, every time you use it as an excuse, every time you allow it to dictate your choices today, you're feeding it. But the moment you decide to stop feeding it, the moment you decide to stop rehearsing, stop repeating it, stop reliving it, the past dies. And when the past dies, the future opens up. Look at me. I was homeless. I was a high school dropout. I was eating out of trash cans. And if I had let my past define me, you wouldn't know the name Eric Thomas. If I let my past tell me who I was, I would still be somewhere on the streets, angry, bitter, hopeless. But I had to make a decision to rewrite my story. I had to make a decision that my past was going to be a lesson, not a prison. And because I made that decision, my story didn't end there. And if it didn't end there for me, it doesn't have to end there for you. Some of you were told you'd never be anything. Maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a parent, maybe it was a friend. They spoke words over you that cut deep. Words that you still hear every time you try to step out and do something new. And because of those words, you've been living small, you've been living afraid, you've been living limited. But let me tell you something. Just because somebody wrote you off doesn't mean your story is over. Just because they didn't believe in you doesn't mean you can't believe in you, doesn't mean you can't believe in yourself. The pen is in your hands now. You get to write the next chapter. And when you write, you don't write from fear. You don't write from shame. You don't write from regret. You write from vision. You write from possibility. You write from faith. You write from a deep knowing that the same way you survived your past, you can thrive in your future. You've got to stop letting the old narrative play and start creating a new one. You might say, but E.T., you don't know what I've been through. You're right, I don't. But I know this. There are people who have been through worse and they made it. There are people who've been abused, abandoned, betrayed, and they still rose. There are people who lost everything, who hit rock bottom, and they still built a future worth living. The question is not whether your past was painful. The question is whether you're willing to keep living in that pain or finally use it to push you forward. Because here's the truth. Your past can be your prison or your passport. It can lock you up or it can launch you. It can chain you down or it can catapult you higher. It's not about what happened. It's about what you do with what happened. You can take every scar, every tear, every failure and turn it into wisdom, strength, and fuel. Or you can keep sitting in it, replaying it, crying over it, wishing it never happened. But wishing won't change it. Only action will. You got to forgive yourself. Some of you are not stuck because of what other people did to you. You're stuck because of what you did to yourself. You can't let go of the guilt, the shame, the regret. Every time you try to move forward, you remind yourself of how you messed up. Most people live their entire lives reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. They move through their days waiting for things to happen, waiting for opportunities to fall in their laps, waiting for someone else to give them permission to succeed. But if you're serious about taking control of your life, if you're serious about starting today, then you have to understand that life does not bend for the passive, it bends for the intentional. You cannot afford to drift through this world like a leaf floating in the wind, carried wherever the current takes it. You have to grab the wheel, set your direction, and choose your path with purpose. It all begins with one powerful step, setting clear goals and building a vision that will fuel everything you do. Without vision, you're stumbling in the dark. With vision, you're unstoppable. Think about it. Every great achievement in history started with someone daring to imagine something different. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't wait for applause. They didn't even wait until they felt ready. They saw something in their minds first, and then they aligned every action, every sacrifice, every waking moment to make that vision a reality. Your life works the same way. If you don't have a clear picture of what you want, then you accept whatever life hands you. You'll live paycheck to paycheck, relationship to relationship, problem to problem, always trying to survive but never truly thriving. That's not living, that's existing. You weren't born to just exist. You were born to conquer, to create, to contribute. But vision alone isn't enough. It has to be specific. Too many people say, I just want to be successful. But what does that mean? Success for one person might mean financial freedom. Yeah, or for another, it could mean starting a family, becoming a leader in their field, or traveling the world. You can't hit a target you haven't defined. If your goals aren't clear, your actions will be scattered, and scattered actions lead to scattered results. Imagine trying to build a house with no blueprint. You buy materials, you start hammering nails, but without a plan, the pieces won't come together, queuing up or That's how most people live their lives. They're working hard, but they're not working smart. They're busy, but not effective. Clarity brings focus, and focus brings results. Once you set your vision, once you know exactly where you want to go, something powerful happens. You wake up with purpose. Every morning isn't just another day. It's another chance to take a step closer to your dream. You stop wasting time on distractions that don't align with your mission. You stop hanging around people who drain you instead of pushing you forward. You start making decisions not based on comfort, but based on progress. See, most people are addicted to comfort. They don't chase dreams, they chase ease. They choose what's easy today and wonder why their future looks the same year after year. When you have a clear vision, you stop choosing easy and start choosing growth. And growth demands sacrifice. You cannot move to the next level of your life holding on to everything from the old level. That means some habits have to die. That means some friendships have to fade. That means some of your routines have to be destroyed. Your vision will cost you. It will cost you late nights, early mornings, long hours, uncomfortable choices, and yes, sometimes even loneliness. But let me ask you, what's the price of staying the same? What's the price of regret? Years from now, will you look back and say, I'm glad I stayed comfortable, or will you wish you had paid the price for your dream? Because one way or another, you're gonna pay. You either pay your price of discipline today, or you pay the price of regret tomorrow. And don't get it twisted. Your vision doesn't have to be huge at first. You don't need to know exactly how everything will play out. You just need to start. Too many people get paralyzed by the how. They say, I don't know how to start a business. I don't know how to buy a house. I don't know how to break this addiction. You don't need to know how. You just need to know why. When your why is strong enough, the how will reveal itself. You'll figure it out piece. Peace. You'll find the right people, the right resources, the right opportunity. But none of that will show up until you commit. The universe doesn't respond to half-hearted wishes. It responds to committed decisions. Commitment is everything. Once you set your vision, you must commit to it no matter what. Don't let setbacks shake you. Don't let delays discourage you. Don't let other people's doubts infect your belief. Remember, nobody else is responsible for your dream but you. Your parents aren't responsible. Your friends aren't responsible. Your boss isn't responsible. You are. And if you don't fight for your vision, no one else will. People will support you, yes. Some may even cheer for you. But at the end of the day, you are the one who has to wake up early. You are the one who has to study, grind, sacrifice, and push past pain. And let me tell you something, you will face resistance. Every vision comes with obstacles. Every dream has a price. Life will test you to see if you really mean what you say. You'll face days when nothing works, when you feel exhausted, when you question whether you're cut out for this. Those are the days that define you. Anybody can keep going, it's easy. The true warriors, the real champions, are the ones who keep pushing when it's hard. They don't let temporary pain distract them from permanent purpose. You can cry, you can scream, you can feel frustrated, but you cannot quit. Your vision demands that you rise above your feelings and stick to your commitment. That's why it's not enough to just set goals. You have to build systems and discipline around them. Dreams without discipline are fantasies. You need daily actions, daily habits, daily routines that push you closer to your goal. Want to be fit? Then your daily routine better include exercise and clean eating. Want to be financially free? Then your daily routine better include saving, investing, and building skills. Want to build strong relationships? Then your daily routine better include communication, respect, and effort. Stop treating your goals like wishes. Treat them like commitments. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Without it, your dream will always stay a dream. And let me tell you what's beautiful. Once you start aligning your life with your vision, momentum kicks in. The small steps add up. The sacrifices compound. The focus sharpens. Suddenly, things that seemed impossible begin to feel inevitable. People will start asking you, how are you doing this? They'll think you're lucky, but you'll know it wasn't luck. It was clarity. It was vision. It was discipline. It was you refusing to settle for anything less than what you were born for. So here's the truth. You don't have to wait another day, another month, another year. You don't need permission. You don't need conditions to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to decide. Decide today what you want your life to look like. Decide today what you will no longer tolerate. Decide today that you are done being a passenger and that you are ready to be the driver. Read it down. Speak it out loud. See it every morning and every night. And then back it up with relentless action. Because life will not give you what you casually wish for. It will give you what you are willing to work and fight for with everything inside you. There comes a point in life where you've got to be honest with yourself about what it's going to take to reach the next level. Everybody wants the breakthrough, but not everybody is willing to pay the price. We live in a world where people love the highlight reel, but don't want to live through the behind-the-scenes grind. They see the success of athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, and think, I want that. But what they don't see is the hours of sacrifice, the lonely nights, the discipline to say no when everyone else is saying yes. If you're serious about taking control of your life, then you've got to understand one thing. You cannot have the dream and the comfort at the same time. Comfort is the enemy of growth, and growth demands sacrifice. That means something has to die for something else to live. You cannot move into a new season of life dragging the baggage of the old one. Some of the habits that feel normal to you, the ones that keep you stuck in the same cycles year after year, they've got to go. Some of the excuses you've been telling yourself, the ones you've repeated so often you started to believe them, they've got to go. Some of the environments you spend your time in, the ones that drain you instead of energize you, they've got to go. You cannot step into the next version of yourself without shedding the old one that hurts because we get attached to comfort. We get attached to people, places, and routines, even when they're destroying us. But if you want to live your dream, you got to be willing to let go of the good so you can step into the great. Let's be real, sacrifice is uncomfortable. Nobody wakes up excited to give up sleep, to skip hanging out with friends, to put down the video games, to deny themselves a luxury. But the truth is, every single person who has ever achieved something great has lived with sacrifice. You think a world-class athlete enjoys waking up at 4 a.m. for training every day? No, but they do it because they've made a decision that their dream is bigger than their comfort. You think a successful entrepreneur likes grinding for years before seeing profits? No, but they do it because they decided that freedom is worth the pain. Sacrifice is the currency of greatness. And if you aren't willing to pay it, then you aren't serious about your dream. And don't confuse yourself. Your dream will not come cheap. People who sell you overnight success are lying to you. The truth is, nothing in life that's worth having comes easy. You gotta bleed for it, sweat for it, cry for it. You've gotta endure moments of doubt, frustration, and loneliness. Sometimes people you thought would support you won't. Sometimes the path will feel dark and uncertain. Sometimes you'll feel like giving up. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to run back to comfort. But comfort will never give you the life you desire. Comfort will only give you a repeat of the same year, over and over, until you're sitting at the end of your life wishing you had taken the leap. So what do you have to sacrifice? Start with your habits. Start with your habits. Ask yourself, are the things I do every single day helping me move toward my dream or keeping me stuck in the same cycle? Because your habits will make or break you. If you spend your morning scrolling through social media instead of building yourself, that's a sacrifice you're refusing to make. If you spend money on things you don't need while complaining you can't invest in your goals, that's a sacrifice you're refusing to make. If you spend hours on distractions while saying you don't have time to build your dream, that's a sacrifice you're refusing to make. The truth is, everybody has the same 24 hours. The question is, what are you willing to sacrifice in those hours to build the life you say you want? Then look at your circle. Let's be honest. Sometimes the people around you are the reason you're not growing. They keep you comfortable. They reinforce your excuses. They don't push you to go higher because they're fine staying low. And if you're not careful, you'll let their lack of vision kill yours. That doesn't mean you stop loving them, but it does mean you set boundaries. You cannot fly like an eagle if you spend all your time scratching with chickens. You've got to surround yourself with people who challenge you, who hold you accountable, who make you uncomfortable in the best way possible. And that requires sacrifice, because it might mean spending less time with people you've known for years. But if you keep holding on to the wrong relationships, you'll never make room for the right ones. Sacrifice also means letting go of excuses. Many people protect their excuses like treasure. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the connections. But let's keep it real. Those aren't reasons. They're lies you told yourself so you don't have to do the hard work. If time was the problem, then how do some people with the same 24 hours achieve greatness? If money was the problem, how do people who start with nothing build empires? If connections were the problem, how do people with no support network build communities from scratch? The truth is, it's not about resources, it's about resourcefulness. When you're willing to sacrifice your excuses, you'll find a way. Now, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine two versions of yourself. One version takes the easy route. You stay comfortable. You avoid sacrifice. You keep doing what you've always done. 10 years from now, you wake up in the same job, in the same routine, wondering where the time went. You look back with regret, knowing you could have been more, but you chose not to pay the price. The other version chooses sacrifice. You put in the work, you say no to distraction. You discipline yourself when nobody's watching. You endure the pain, the setbacks, the grind, and 10 years from now, you look back not with regret, but with pride. You see the life you built, the people you've impacted, the goals you've achieved, and you realize it was worth every single sacrifice. Which version do you want to be? Understand this. Sacrifice doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. Every time you deny yourself comfort for the sake of growth, you become stronger. Every time you push through temptation and stay focused on your vision, you build character. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you become the kind of person who can handle success when it comes. Because let me tell you something, success without sacrifice destroys people. They get what they want too easily, and they don't know how to handle it. But when you paid the price, when you sacrificed for years, when you earned every step, you not only appreciate success, you know how to sustain it. And here's the beautiful thing, sacrifice compounds. The small sacrifices you make daily add up to massive results over time. Waking up early one day won't change your life, but doing it every day for years will. Saving a little money one week won't make you rich, but doing it consistently will build wealth. Saying no to distractions once won't make a difference, but doing it over will create focus like you've never experienced before. Sacrifice is the seed you plant, and success is the harvest you reap. But you can't expect a harvest if you're not willing to plant and water the seed consistently. I say yes, sacrifice hurts. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it will separate you from people and habits you once loved. But it will also separate you from regret, from mediocrity, from the life you don't want. You've got to decide what pain you're willing to live with. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One lasts for a season, the other lasts for a lifetime. And once you make that decision, once you commit to sacrifice, nothing can stop you. People love to talk about commitment, but very few truly understand what it means. Commitment isn't a nice word you say when you feel motivated. Commitment isn't an Instagram quote you post after watching a motivational video. Commitment is what you do when the excitement wears off. It's the action you take when nobody's watching. It's the choice you make when the pain kicks in, when the obstacles pile up, when the path isn't clear. And if you're serious about taking control of your life, then you've got to understand that commitment isn't something you do once. It's something you do every single day, no matter what. See, the problem with most people is they treat commitment like it's conditional. They say they're committed, but what they really mean is, I'll do it as long as it's easy. I'll do it as long as it's convenient. I'll do it as long as it doesn't hurt too much. But that's not commitment. That's convenience. True commitment is tested when everything he wants to quit. True commitment is sticking to the plan when your feelings are screaming at you to stop. Your feelings don't want to grind. Your feelings don't want to wake up early. Your feelings don't want to put in the extra work. Your feelings want comfort. But if you let your feelings drive your life, you'll never reach your destination. Commitment means you make a decision once and then honor that decision daily, regardless of how you feel. Think about it. How many people start strong but never finish? Every January, gyms are packed with people making resolutions. They're motivated. They're excited. They've set their goals. But come February, most of them are gone. Why? Because they were motivated, not committed. Motivation is temporary, commitment is permanent. Code. Motivation gets you started. Commitment keeps you going. If you rely only on motivation, you'll quit the moment life gets tough. But if you're committed, you push through no matter what. Commitment also means you stop negotiating with yourself. Too many people lose because they keep renegotiating their goals. They say they're going to wake up at 5 a.m., but when the alarm rings, they start bargaining. Or maybe just 10 more minutes. They say they're going to eat clean, but when the junk food shows up, they tell themselves, just this once. They say they're going to save money, but when temptation hits, they justify the purchase. Every time you renegotiate, you weaken your word to yourself. You start teaching your brain that your promises don't matter. And if your own word doesn't mean anything to you, then how can you expect to build a life of integrity, discipline, and success? Commitment means when you say it, you do it. Period. No debate, no excuses, no compromise. And commitment isn't just about showing up when things are good. It's about showing up when things fall apart. Life will test you. You'll face setbacks, delays, failures. You'll put in effort and sometimes not see results right away. That's when most people quit. They think if it's not working now, maybe it's not meant to be. But that's not how life works. Success doesn't come on your timeline. It comes on life's timeline. And life wants to see if you're serious. It wants to see if you keep showing up even when you don't see the results yet. That's why commitment is so powerful. When you refuse to quit, when you refuse to give up, you separate yourself from 99% of people who fall off when it gets tough. Let me make it plain. Commitment is a marriage, not a date. A date is temporary. You enjoy it while it lasts. Then when it gets uncomfortable, you walk away. A marriage is for the long haul. You don't run every time things get rough. You work through it, you adjust, you keep going. That's the difference between people who achieve greatness and people who settle. Greatness requires a marriage-level commitment to your vision. You can't just flirt with your goals. You've got to be all in. And don't think for 1 second that commitment means perfection. You're going to stumble. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have days where you fall short. But the difference between committed people and uncommitted people is this. Committed people get back up. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week or one bad week turn into a bad year. They don't let failure define them. They let failure refine them. Every stumble becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes fuel. Because when you're committed, failure is not found, it's feedback. Here's the truth. Commitment will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you time. It will cost you energy. But what's the alternative? What does quitting cost you? Quitting costs you your dream. Quitting costs you your potential. Quitting costs you the life you could have had. You've got to decide which price you're willing to pay. The price of discipline and commitment today, or the price of regret tomorrow. Commitment also means you stop relying on other people to hold you accountable. Yes, it's great to have mentors, coaches, friends who support you. But at the end of the day, nobody can want your dream more than you. Nobody can wake up for you. Nobody can put in the work for you. Nobody can carry the weight of your vision except you. Commitment is about self-accountability, being honest with yourself, holding yourself to a higher standard, and refusing to settle. If you can't trust yourself to stay committed, then you'll always be at the mercy of other people. But when you learn to be accountable to yourself, you become unstoppable. And let me tell you something powerful. Commitment creates consistency, and consistency creates results. You don't need the results. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to do the right things consistently. Show up every day. Put in the work every day. Take small steps every day. Over time, those small steps add up to massive progress. The people who win are always the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who were committed enough to keep going when others stop. They showed up day after day, and the compound effect of their consistency created success. Look at nature. It's the same principle. A drop of water doesn't break a rock in one hit. It breaks it over time through consistency. The sun doesn't warm the earth with one burst of heat. It does it by rising every single day without fail. That's what commitment looks like. Not explosive effort once in a while, but steady, relentless effort over time. If you want to break through in life, you've got to become consistent, and consistency only comes from true commitment. And here's the best part. Once you prove to yourself that you can commit, it builds confidence. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe in your own word. You realize that when you say something, you mean it. That belief creates momentum, and that momentum carries you further than you ever imagined. That's why commitment is not just about achieving goals. It's about transforming who you are. A committed person is powerful, disciplined, and unshakable. They don't just chase dreams, they embody excellence in everything they do. So if you want to take control of your life starting today, don't just talk about it. Don't just post about it. Don't just dream about it. Commit. Decide once and for all that you're going to do whatever it takes. Stop renegotiating with yourself. Just stop waiting for motivation. Stop relying on feeling. Commit, act, and keep acting until your vision becomes reality. Because life doesn't reward the interested, it rewards the committed. Every dream, every vision, every goal worth fighting for is going to meet resistance. That's not optional, it's guaranteed. Life doesn't hand out rewards for free, it tests you first. It puts obstacles in your way, delays your progress, throws challenges at you that make you question whether you're truly built for this. And this is where most people fall short. They expect the journey to be smooth. They expect the results to come quickly. They expect life to roll out the red carpet just because they decided they wanted something. But life doesn't work that way. Life is going to ask you, how bad do you want it? And your answer won't come from your mouth. It will come from your actions when everything is stacked against you. Resistance is not a sign that you're failing. Resistance is a sign that you're moving in the right direction. If you're not facing obstacles, it probably means you're not chasing anything big enough. The higher you aim, the more opposition you'll face. That's the law of growth. Think about it. When you lift weights, what makes your muscles grow? Resistance. If you only lift light weights, you stay the same. But when you put your body under real strain, when you push past what feels comfortable, that's when growth happens. Life works the same way. The resistance you're facing isn't meant to stop you. It's meant to stretch you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for the weight of the success you're chasing. Refrain. The danger is when you let resistance discourage you instead of develop you. Too many people interpret setbacks as signs they should quit. They say, if this were meant for me, it wouldn't be this hard. That's a lie. The fact that it's hard is the proof that it's meant for you. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Gold isn't purified without fire. Champions aren't made without battles. If you want the reward, you've got to be willing to go through the resistance. But here's the key. You can't face resistance with a victim mindset. If every time life hits you, you cry about how unfair it is, you'll never grow. Stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every obstacle carries a lesson. Every failure carries wisdom. Every setback is an opportunity to sharpen your character, your discipline, your faith. If you only see resistance as a roadblock, you'll miss the fact that it's also a teacher. The struggle isn't there to destroy you. It's there to shape you into the kind of person who can handle the dream you're chasing. You have to stop letting resistance surprise you. Expect it. Plan for it. Know that when you set a big goal, life will test that goal. You'll lose friends. You'll face criticism. You'll run into delays. You'll experience moments of doubt. That's part of the process. The mistake most people make is they only prepare for the easy parts. They prepare for the celebration, the applause, the rewards, but they don't prepare for the rejection, the failure, the grind. And when those moments come, they fold. You got to build yourself up mentally so you don't break when resistance comes. And let me tell you, resistance will expose who you really are. It's easy to talk big when everything is going right. It's easy to declare your goals when life is comfortable. But the real test of your commitment, your character, your belief comes when everything goes wrong. Do you still keep going when nobody believes in you? Do you still keep fighting when the results are delayed? Do you still show up when you're tired, broke, and discouraged? That's what defines you. Resistance reveals the difference between people who just want success and people who are built for it. Think about any great story of success. Every single one is filled with resistance. Athletes told they were too small. Entrepreneurs rejected by investors. leaders doubted by their own communities, people who face failure after failure before finally breaking through. If you stripped away the resistance, you strip away the greatness. Because the greatness wasn't just in the achievement, it was in the fight, the resilience, the refusal to quit. The success meant something because of the resistance it overcame. So how do you handle resistance when it comes? First, you gotta shift your perspective. Stop seeing resistance as the enemy and start seeing it as evidence. Evidence that you're on the right track. Evidence that you're growing. Evidence that you're chasing something bigger than yourself. The struggle you're facing isn't proof that you should stop. It's proof that you should keep going. Second, you gotta build discipline that outlasts your emotion. Because resistance will trigger every emotion in you. Fear, doubt, frustration. If you let emotions drive you, resistance will win. But if you let discipline drive you, you'll keep pushing forward no matter how you feel. And third, you gotta learn how to use resistance as fuel. Every time someone doubts you, let it push you. Every time you fail, let it teach you. Every time you're delayed, let it refine your patience. Don't waste your resistance, use it. Because the people who succeed aren't the ones with no resistance. They're the ones who learn how to turn resistance into resilience. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people facing the same obstacle. One sees it as a wall and gives up. The other sees it as a test and keeps climbing. The wall didn't decide who would succeed. The response did. Resistance doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care about your background, your talent, or your dreams. What matters is your response. Do you crumble or do you rise? Do you quit or do you fight? That's what separates winners from losers. And let's be real, it won't always be pretty. Sometimes resistance will knock you down hard. Sometimes you'll feel broken, defeated, even hopeless. But you've got to remember, being knocked down isn't the same as being knocked out. As long as you get back up, you're still in a fight. Champions aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who keep rising every time they fall. The resistance may slow you down, but it can't stop you unless you let it. Understand this. Resistance, temporary, but quitting is permanent. The pain of the struggle will pass, but the pain of giving up will haunt you for the rest of your life. That's why you got to decide right now that no matter what comes, you won't quit. You might cry, but you won't quit. You might fail, but you won't quit. You might get knocked down, but you won't quit. Because if you outlast the resistance, you will reach the reward. The reward. And here's the beauty. You don't just come out of resistance with success. You come out with strength. The resistance that felt unbearable at first becomes the very thing that makes you powerful. The storm that threatened to break you becomes the storm that built you. And once you've been through enough resistance, once you've fought enough battles, once you've survived enough storms, you stop fearing resistance altogether. You welcome it because you know it's shaping you into someone unstoppable. So when resistance comes, don't run from it. Don't fear it. Don't let it discourage you. Face it head on with courage, with discipline, with an unshakable belief that you will not be denied. Because resistance isn't there to destroy you. It's there to prove that you're worthy dream you're chasing. Life has a way of throwing us curveballs, and sometimes it feels like those setbacks are more than we can handle. You pour your heart into something, you give it your energy, and then one day it falls apart. Maybe it's a business that collapses, a relationship that ends, or a dream you've been chasing that just doesn't come together the way you thought it would. In those moments, it's easy to feel like the world is against you. It's easy to sink into the belief that failure defines you. But the truth is, failure doesn't define you. It refines you. It teaches you lessons that no success ever could. It's the fire that burns away your excuses and forces you to rise stronger than before. When you understand this, you stop fearing failure and you start seeing it as a stepping stone to becoming who you're meant to be. Think about a time when you fell short. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you worked so hard for. Maybe you trained for months for a competition and came up short. In that moment, it hurt. It felt like all your effort was wasted. But if you look closer, if you dig deeper, you'll realize that failure carved something into you. It taught you resilience. It taught you how to get back up when life knocks you down. That pain you felt, it wasn't pointless. It was shaping you, teaching you perseverance, preparing you for something bigger. Too many people quit at that point because they believe that setback is the end of the road. But failure is never the end. It's a lesson, a test, an invitation to grow. What separates the people who make it from the ones who give up isn't talent, money, or luck. It's their ability to handle failure. The most successful people in the world didn't arrive there without stumbling. They stumbled a lot. They failed more times than they can count. But here's the difference. When they failed, they didn't stay down. They got up. They analyzed what went wrong, and they adjusted. They refused to let failure define their story. They used it to fuel their determination. That's the mindset you need if you want to take control of your life. Every failure is feedback. It's not final, it's not fatal, it's feedback. It's life's way of telling you what doesn't work so you can move closer to what does. Too many people take failure personally. They think I failed, therefore I'm a failure. No, that's not the truth. No, that's not the truth. Failing doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you're trying. It means you're putting yourself out there, risking, chasing, stretching. The only real failure is refusing to try. The only way to guarantee you'll never reach your potential is to stop before you even get started. So when you fall, instead of asking why me, ask what can I learn from this? How can I grow? How can I use this to get stronger? The people who refuse to learn from failure stay stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes. But the people who embrace failure as a teacher move forward. They don't fear making mistakes because they understand that mistakes are proof that they're moving, that they're pushing, growing, stretching. If you never fail, it means you're not even in the game. You're sitting on the sidelines of life, watching others take risks. Failure means you're playing, you're involved, you're giving effort. Combined with persistence always pays off. It's time to shift how you see failure. Instead of letting it break your confidence, let it build your character. Instead of letting it make you bitter, let it make you better. If you lost everything today, if everything you built came crashing down, you still have the most important thing. Your ability to try again. Your ability to rise, to push, to grind, to fight for what you believe in. That's something failure can't take away from you. Failure might strip away your comfort, your security, even your reputation for a while, but it can't strip away your heart, your will, your drive. That's why so many great comebacks start in the pit of failure. Because when you've lost it all, you realize what truly matters, and you rise from that place with a new kind of fire. Think of failure as training. Just like a muscle grows stronger by being broken down and rebuilt, your spirit grows stronger every time you face a setback and rise again. That's why your struggle matters. It's building a version of you that's unstoppable. Every time you fail and stand back up, you're proving to yourself that you're tougher than whatever knocked you down. You're building a kind of mental toughness that can't be taught in books or classrooms. It can only be earned in the arena of life. And here's the truth. The greater your goals, the more you will fail along the way. That's not discouragement, that's reality. If your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. And if it's big enough, it's going to test you. You're going to stumble. You're going to doubt yourself. But that's the process. That's how you grow into the kind of person who can actually handle the dream you're chasing. If you got it without the struggle, you wouldn't be ready for it. The failure is preparing you for the blessing. So stop running from failure. Stop avoiding risks because you're afraid to fall. Falling is part of the journey. Don't you see? Every champion was once a contender who refused to quit after failing. Every innovator was once an amateur whose ideas didn't work until they did. Every success story you admire has a chapter filled with failure. You're not exempt from that process. Embrace it, respect it, learn from it. And most importantly, don't let it stop you. Failure isn't a wall, it's a door. It looks like a dead end, but really it's a passage to the next level of your life. You just have to walk through it, armed with the lessons you learned. That's how you turn pain into power, setbacks into setups, failures into fuel. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control how you respond. And when you choose to rise, when you choose to learn, when you choose to keep going, you take control of your life no matter how many times you've fallen. Every single day, you're given the gift of 24 hours. And what you choose to do with those hours will decide the quality of your life. Too many people drift through the day like they're passengers instead of drivers, moving wherever circumstances push them. They wake up late, rush through their mornings, complain about how little time they had, and then waste hours scrolling, watching, or distracting themselves with things that don't push them forward. At the end of the day, they're exhausted but unfulfilled because they didn't live with intention. They didn't maximize the hours they had. But if you want to take control of your life, you have to take control of your time. Time is the most valuable resource you'll ever have. Unlike money, once you spend it, you don't get it back. Once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. That's why you have to treat time like treasure, because that's exactly what it is. Imagine your time as currency. If I gave you rupee 86,400 and told you that whatever you don't spend in 24 hours will vanish, you spend every single rupee with care. You plan, you prioritize, you make sure every coin works for you. That's exactly how time works. Every day, you're given 86,400 seconds, and at midnight, whatever you didn't use with purpose disappears. You can't save it. You can't bank it. You can't rewind it. The question is, what are you doing with those seconds? Are you investing them into your growth, your health, your family, your dreams? Or are you letting them slip through your fingers on things that don't matter? When you look at people who achieve greatness, it's not that they were given more hours than you. They get the same 24 hours. The difference is they manage it with discipline and clarity. They don't waste hours on gossip, on distractions, on worrying about things they can't control. They focus. They cut out what doesn't align with their vision. They wake up early, they plan their day. They give their time to the things that move them forward. Time is the great equalizer. Every human being, rich or poor, young or old, has the same amount. What separates the extraordinary from the average is how they use it. The truth is, life is short. Most people don't realize how short until it's too late. You don't know how many days you've been given. You might have decades, or you might have months. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Because if you truly understood that your time is limited, you wouldn't waste it. You wouldn't spend hours doing things that don't bring you joy or move you closer to your purpose. You wouldn't spend energy on people who drain you. You wouldn't put off your dreams until a someday, because you realize that someday isn't guaranteed. You'd act today. You'd move now. You live with urgency, with purpose, with intention. Taking control of your time starts with awareness. How are you actually spending your hours? Be brutally honest with yourself. Track it for a day. How much time do you spend working on your goals versus scrolling social media? How much time do you spend feeding your mind with books, podcasts, or learning versus watching meaningless entertainment? How much time do you spend connecting with loved ones versus arguing or avoiding them? When you see the truth on paper, it'll hit you. You're either using your time to build the life you want, or you're wasting it on distractions that don't matter. Once you know where your time is going, you can start cutting out what doesn't serve you. Eliminate the noise. Say no to the things that don't align with your vision. You don't have to accept every invitation. You don't have to respond to every notification. You don't have to be available 24/7. Protect your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something that could have changed your life. You also have to prioritize. Not everything is equally important. Some things matter more than others. Some tasks move you forward in a big way, while others just keep you busy. Don't confuse busyness with productivity. Just because your calendar is full doesn't mean your life is moving forward. Focus on the tasks that make the biggest difference. Attack the things that scare you, the things you've been putting off, the things that actually build your future. That's how you maximize time. Not by doing more, but by doing what matters most. No, here's the thing. Taking control of your time doesn't mean you can't rest. Rest is important. Sleep, recovery, relaxation, these are essential if you want to sustain your energy. But there's a difference between intentional rest and mindless wasting of time. Intentional rest is when you sleep because you know your body needs it. When you take a walk to clear your head. When you spend time with family because it nourishes your soul. That's different from hours lost to distractions that leave you feeling emptier than before. Rest to recharge, not to escape. Another piece of taking control of your time is mastering your mornings. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up late, hit snooze, and rush out the door, you've already lost control before the day even begins. But if you wake up early, spend those first moments investing in yourself, reading, exercising, meditating, planning, you take charge. You tell the day, I'm in control, not you. That's powerful. That's how you build momentum that carries you through the hours ahead. And let's not forget discipline. Managing time isn't about motivation. It's about discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is what keeps you moving when you don't feel like it. Discipline is saying no to distraction, shutting off the TV, turning down the noise, and focusing on what you said you do. Discipline is respecting your own schedule, respecting your own dreams, and refusing to waste your time on things that don't matter. When you master discipline, you master time. And when you master time, you master your life. One of the saddest truths is that people often realize the value of time only when it's too late. When they're lying on their deathbed, they don't wish for more money or more possessions. They wish for more time. More time to love, to create, to pursue dreams, to live fully. Don't wait until the end to value what you have right now. Live like your time matters, because it does. Every day is a page in the book of your life, and you get to decide how it's written. Don't waste those pages on things you'll regret. Fill them with moments that matter, with actions that count, with choices that lead you closer to the person you want to become. At the end of the day, your life is nothing more than the sum of how you use your time. Every achievement, every relationship, every memory is built from the way you spent your hours. If you want a better life, start by using your time better. If you want to change your story, start by changing how you use your days. The power is in your hands. You can't control everything in life, but you can control how you spend your time. And when you take control of your time, you take control of your destiny. You were not put on this earth to simply exist, to breathe in and breathe out until time is up. You were created with a purpose, with gifts, with talents, with something inside you that only you can bring into this world. Too many people live their whole lives without ever tapping into that. They settle for mediocrity. They play small. They hide their light because they're afraid of what people might think, or because they don't believe they're worthy of greatness. But deep down, you know you're meant for more. You feel it when you lay your head down at night, when the noise of the world quiets and your inner voice whispers, this isn't it. You're capable of more. That whisper is your purpose calling you. That's the part of you that knows you weren't made to just survive. You were made to thrive. Living with purpose means waking up every day with clarity about why you're here and what you're striving toward. It doesn't mean you have everything figured out, but it does mean you're moving with intention. It means your actions align with your values. It means you're building something that matters, not just to you, but to the world. Because here's the truth. Your purpose isn't just about you. It's about who you can serve, who you can impact, who you can inspire. The gifts you've been given aren't just for your benefit, they're for others. Your story, your struggles, your strengths, those are meant to help somebody else. When you discover your purpose and start living it, you unlock a level of fulfillment and energy that no paycheck, no status, no material thing can ever give you. The problem is too many people bury their purpose under fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. But fear is a liar. Fear tells you to stay comfortable, to stay safe, to play small. And if you listen, you'll wake up one day realizing you lived a life that wasn't truly yours. Purpose requires courage. It requires stepping out of your comfort zone, taking risks, doing things that scare you. It requires trusting that the vision in your heart is worth the struggle, worth the sacrifice, worth the sleepless nights. That's what separates those who live with purpose from those who don't. They're willing to push past fear. Living with purpose also means letting go of comparison. Too often, people get distracted trying to live someone else's life. They see what others are doing, what others have achieved, and they measure themselves against that. But your purpose isn't their purpose. You weren't called to walk their path. You were called to walk yours. Comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, your focus, your energy. Stop looking sideways and start looking within. Ask yourself, what are my gifts? What brings me alive? What problems in the world break my heart? What impact do I want to leave? Those questions will guide you to your purpose. When you live with purpose, work stops feeling like work. Even when it's hard, even when it's exhausting, there's a fire behind it because you know it matters. You stop living for weekends, stop dreading Mondays. because every day is an opportunity to move closer to the vision you have for your life. Purpose gives meaning to your struggles. When you're aligned with your calling, setbacks don't break you, they shape you. Obstacles don't discourage you, they fuel you. Because you know that everything you're facing is part of a journey, part of the process of becoming who you're meant to be. Purpose also brings discipline. When you know what you're here for, you stop wasting time on things that don't align with that. You don't say yes to every distraction. You don't entertain negativity. You don't pour energy into don't serve your vision. Purpose simplifies your life. It helps you focus. It gives you the clarity to know what deserves your time and what deserves your time. Without purpose, you drift. With purpose, you direct. And direction is everything if you want to build a life that matters. But don't think living with purpose means it will be easy. Purpose doesn't eliminate struggle. It gives struggle meaning. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when the weight feels too heavy, when the vision feels too far away. But that's when you remind yourself why you started. That's when you tap into that inner fire and remember that you weren't made to quit. Purpose will keep you going when nothing else does. Purpose will pull you out of bed when you're exhausted. Purpose will drive you to keep pushing when others would have stopped. And here's the beauty of it. When you live with purpose, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage gives others permission to be courageous. Your discipline challenges others to rise higher. Your resilience reminds others that they too can overcome. Purpose is contagious. When you shine, you light the way for others. And that ripple effect is bigger than you'll ever realize. Your life could be the reason someone else finds the strength to keep going. Your story could be the key that unlocks someone else's breakthrough. That's why living with purpose isn't just important. It's urgent. Because somebody out there is waiting for what only you can give. Ask yourself, if I keep living the way I am right now, will I be proud of my story at the end? If the answer is no, then it's time to change. It's time to stop drifting, stop waiting, stop hiding. It's time to step into your purpose with boldness. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Start where you are with what you have right now. Purpose doesn't wait for perfect condition. It grows in action, in faith, and consistency. The more you live it, the clearer it becomes. At the end of your life, no one will remember the things you bought, the titles you held, or the status you chased. They'll remember the impact you had. They'll remember how you made them feel, how you inspired them, how you showed up. They'll remember the legacy you left. And legacy is built by living with purpose every single day. Legacy isn't something you leave when you die. It's something you build while you live. Every choice you make, every action you take, every word you speak is shaping that legacy right now. So take control of your life by taking control of your purpose. Don't let fear, distraction, or comfort keep you from becoming who you were created to be. Don't settle for average when greatness is within you. You've got gifts the world hasn't seen yet, ideas the world hasn't heard yet, and strength the world hasn't witnessed yet. But it won't come out if you keep living without direction. It won't come out if you keep hiding. It won't come out if you keep putting it off for tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't promised. All you have is today. And today is the perfect day to start living with purpose.